All right,
Scott.
Kurt, what do you want to show us?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Check this out. I found this yesterday.
What is that?
Oh, it's a Menards coffee mug?
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, you...
I was there yesterday. Look.
Dude, you're just giving away free advertisements?
So for
Kate on
those
the show? Come on,
so for
man.
those who are listening, Drew is holding up a coffee mug that has tools on it. So he's transitioned into a full-on dad at this point.
Tools holding tools. That's
those
exactly
listening,
your new tagline.
Go to the YouTube channel and watch the full video. Nah, I had a whole conversation with the lady at the returns desk because I find myself there often. They have a great return policy, by the way. And she was telling me how cute my kid was. And she's like, you've been in here before, haven't you? I think I've talked to you. And I had like afterwards, I was like, she could be the ticket. Like if I become friends with her, she'll introduce me to the manager. I become friends with the manager sponsors me. It's a done deal. But that didn't happen.
You know the returns desk is like the worst job you can possibly get at.
That's like the bottom of the barrel.
I know. And this lady was so nice to me. So
Wow.
That's impressive. To have that kind of attitude working that job, that's good.
Dude, Scott has the bottom of the barrel job at Ignition, and he's a massive dick.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that? There's only like 2 tiers. I don't know.
Right, there's the top tier, which is us,
and then
there's the bottom tier, which is everyone else, which includes Scott.
Yeah. It's the bottom. It's the bottom.
That's a terrible.
I would say it's still.
Dylan said that for the record. I didn't say
the
that.
returns desk at Menards, but
Yeah. Every time something goes wrong, he doesn't have to use his little walkie-talkie and say, "I need a manager up front." He just handles that crap on his own.
Dude, we should get walkie-talkies for our coaches. Every time somebody puts a frowny face on training peaks, you know? Yeah.
Do you remember how like they used to have those cell phones that were that they tried to market as walkie-talkies, but it was basically like you were still using your cell phone like normal. It just made that beep 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 sound before you spoke. You know what I mean? Like when you do a walkie-talkie and it goes,
dude,
beep,
I don't remember that at all.
They literally had cell phones that did that, and they tried to like market it as some big thing, and it was like, yeah, but these are just cell phones that make that noise right before you call somebody. So like these aren't
that's
real.
Probably just what they had in Kentucky.
Yeah, it must have been Kentucky thing. They were big here. Yeah, I remember. I mean, you walk into Farmers Depot or Menards.
Scott, you got
all
him going.
People on their walkie-talkie cell phones.
You got him going now.
They don't have shoes on.
You just mentioned Kentucky, and now he's got to tell a story about his youth.
Give you a history of the state and talk about Daniel Boone.
I don't even know who that is.
Forest is a massive part of Kentucky.
Okay, all right. This isn't the
Daniel
Kentucky
Boone
podcast.
There's a whole song. You've never heard that song? Daniel Boone was a man. He was a real man. He was. I swear, there's a song, and those are the lyrics.
Okay, well, I didn't grow up in Kentucky, so I wouldn't know it.
And here's the guy. He fought for America to make all Americans free. I don't know anything about Daniel Boone other than what I've learned from that song.
Okay.
We lost Adam. He's distracted.
Yeah. He doesn't care about Daniel Boone.
I'm bored, dude. I'm
doesn't
bored.
care about history.
Scott, okay, you're finally on the podcast after like 5 weeks. So yeah. Dude, what do you want to talk about?
I've been busy.
What do you want to talk about?
You've been busy. Dude, we've got like a backlog of bow hunting questions that I was trying to find all of them because it's been so long.
How was the Volta whatever? What's it called?
España?
Volta, Portugal.
Yeah, how was that?
It was all right.
Dude, it looked like Project Echelon crushed it, but I don't know, maybe you just have a person who knows what they're doing with their social media. It looks like you guys are always crushing it, but
we were. I think we were in the break every single day. Won a stage, 3 third places, a 4th, pretty good.
The new one of the newest
won one stage. Dude,
one of the newest
from your social media.
Only won one stage.
I know, but from your social media account, dude, it looked like you guys won every single day.
That's what I'm saying. Whoever's in charge of the
is like...
It's a good.
Dude, whoever's in charge of the social media does a really good job of making it look like Project Echelon crushes it every day.
This is what these like crit guys do all the time. Is they post photos of them winning from last year, the race, and then people who don't really follow it think they're just like winning all the time.
Yeah,
but they're actually won like 2 races in their whole life. They post about it all the time. But also winning one stage was like,
dude, that's what Dizzle's gonna do with Dust
Scott,
Bowl.
Didn't you? Yeah, Scott, didn't you win
Go to my
2 or 3 stages last year?
Our Dust Bowl.
In 2022, I won 2 stages. Yeah.
Okay.
But it was like a different race. Like there was only one sprint stage.
So you've gotten worse, is what you're saying, in the last 2 years?
Well, I might have been in worse shape, but
are you wait? Are you saying that
are you saying that the competition level
thank you,
getting
Drew.
higher?
That's what I was gonna say, dude.
I know. I had to beat you to it.
I didn't say that. No, that's not what I said.
Oh my gosh, the level of competition in Portugal is just going through the roof. If you guys knew last year, if you would have gotten 17th at the Tour of Portugal, this year you would have won. Yeah, that's how it is.
Well,
the opposite.
When I did it in 2022,
but the other way,
there was 5 sprint stages.
And now
1, 2 was second twice and third, and then this year there was only 1 sprint stage.
Oh, okay.
Just because of like the courses, and then
I thought you were a climber,
the team
bro.
that was leading wasn't not in Portugal.
Did you defend
only
your green?
Only the Portuguese are climbers in Portugal.
Did you defend your green jersey?
No, absolutely not, dude. The guy who won the green jersey was like unbelievable at climbing, and then they have like all the intermediate sprints are. It was like it was impossible to. Yeah, it literally like they always put the intermediate sprints like halfway up like a categorized climb or something. It's insane.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, it was a different race. But like a lot of the stages were won by the breakaway, so it was like full gas racing. It would some stages attacked for 100K. It would be attacking, no breakaway for 100K.
One of our newest ignition coaches, Hugo Scala, was the guy that won the stage.
Won the stage.
It looked rad. I was pumped.
You should have seen the guy that he beat too. He crossed the line with his hand over his face like this.
No way.
In disbelief, and then he started crying.
What?
The guy who got second.
Were you guys racing juniors again?
No, we were racing Portuguese. But in Portugal, this is like the biggest sporting event in Portugal. It's like massive. So to be a Portuguese rider and to win a stage of the Volta Portugal will like make your whole career.
Dude, imagine being a Portuguese rider. You're about to win a stage of the Tour of Portugal, and some random Project Echelon guy just snipes it from you.
Yeah, 2-up sprint too, and the guy's like kind of like
what a dick.
He's like a pretty fast rider, so I bet you he thought he had it in the bag. Then Hugo just fucking dusted.
Clearly not, man.
Crushed it.
Sick.
Awesome.
That's sick.
It was awesome. I think I was like more emotional from that than when I won.
Wait, so hold on. So Hugo is the only guy that won a stage?
From the team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's with all this Tyler Stites, dude? Every single thing on your social media was about Tyler Stites lately. I thought he was sweeping everything.
He got a couple of thirds. He got third in the time trial, and then he got third in like one of the stages.
Cool.
So
that's still good.
Cool.
Third in the time trial, like
cool story, bro.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was like GC contender or something. The way you guys were posting about it.
I wasn't posting anything.
I see it through your social media. It's you repost everything.
Well, this is my social media game is strong. Then, if you think that we're winning more than one stage,
Dude, seriously, man, you should be
Or
raking
you're
in all
just
the
not paying
sponsors.
attention,
Who?
and I just
Yo,
post a random photo, and you think that it's Victor.
Probably that.
who is in charge of the Project Echelon social media? They need a raise.
It's the team owner, I guess, Eric.
Okay,
Wow.
I think.
Crushing it.
nice job, Eric. Does he listen to this podcast?
He's gonna if he hears. I have no idea if he hears that. He's gonna be excited that you told him nice job on his social media.
Yeah, we love you, Eric. We have no bad things to say about you, right, Drew?
Oh,
Nah, he kind of sucked at crit racing, but
Oh,
kidding.
Drew, you can't.
You know, there's a reason he's retired.
Oh,
Drew
wow.
will suck
There's a
up
reason
to
he's
the
the
lady at the
He's the
returns
reason.
counter.
There's a reason he's the team director and not on the team anymore.
Oh, wow.
I'm just kidding. I raced
Drew,
him.
you know
I
that
think he was on
you
the
know that
team when
old
I was
saying:
on
if you
Roadhouse
if
the
you don't
last
have
few
anything
years.
nice to say, don't say anything at all.
yeah. You should.
You know that other
learn.
saying that if you can't do, you teach? Yeah, that's this guy. But he could also say that. He could also say that about me too as a coach. If you can't do it, you
Eric?
just coach.
You mean Eric can't? He actually works in education as his actual job.
Didn't he race on the team the last for a while?
He started. He started the team.
Yeah,
He owns.
Dude.
He started and owns the team.
but he
in-
raced
in-
for the team too, didn't he? He's got
Yeah, but it's
red
like-
hair.
There's a reason he started the team instead of racing for himself because he wanted to give other people opportunities.
Oh, that's a
I'm
good
just
way to
living
put
up
it,
my,
Scott.
come
That
up.
was a nice way to put it for sure. Look at Scott. See, Scott.
Yeah.
Scott knows what to
He's a nice
say.
guy.
Yeah, give other people opportunities, Drew.
I liked him. He was nice to me, but me and
Okay.
him never won any races. I'm just, yeah, we always just hung out in the middle of the race, and that was where we were. So we knew.
Your
we knew-
self-worth should not be valued at whether you're good at biking or not.
Yeah,
It
that's
should,
so
actually.
true. Yeah,
Who cares?
I
what
di-
you
I
do in racing or
disagree.
not?
yeah,
I disagree.
so true. Yeah.
Well, then you don't have much self-worth, Dylan. When's the last time you won a race?
I won a Southeast gravel race this year.
Dude, he finished on the age group podium at Unbound.
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Did he even do that?
No,
What age group?
Adam's joking. Like I finished on the Lifetime
January
Grand
of
Prix.
1995 age?
Okay, it was the Lifetime Grand Prix, but it might as well have been the age group podium.
I would argue that's worse than an age group podium. You're
Okay,
just
well,
the
let's-
podium of a hand-selected randomized group of people. At least an age group
It's
is
not,
like
dude.
a
It's not a
definitive thing,
random
like,
group
you're
of
that old.
people. It's the fastest people in the U.S. and some other countries.
Yeah,
No,
but it's pretty
subjectively.
It's pretty subjective.
Okay, but
yeah.
you got 10th and you got 3rd, so there's 7 people who were faster than you.
Yeah. So
that weren't in
people
this
like
series.
That wasn't in
I don't
the
know.
series,
I
so
don't-
it's not the fastest.
look. I don't know if you saw my
If it was the
post
fastest
after.
in every race would be 1 through 35 in the lifetime.
Yeah, Scott. I don't know if you saw my
How about
post
this? How
after
about-
Unbound,
how
but
about-
what
look,
I
I
said
got a good
was
one.
I got 10th place. I didn't even say I got 3rd place in anything. I was like, holy
don't
shit,
feel
Dylan
10th
was
place.
the third place American. We'll give you that. You were third of all the domestic riders.
No, dude,
Yeah, that's even better statistic than 3rd out of the lifetime.
Mhm. I'm just saying I'm not
I
not
don't
bragging
read
about I'm not
posts.
bragging about getting a lifetime podium. What I'm bragging about is getting 10th place in the race.
We know. We just like giving you shit, Dylan.
I'd brag about the podium. You don't get to go stand on a stage for 10th place. You only get to go stand on the stage for the podium. Embrace it, Dylan.
Yeah. Well, we
You're
know
one of
because
the
you bragged
selected few in the U.S.
we know because you bragged about beating all the people in Indiana and Michigan and Kentucky at a local gravel race.
Yep, I did.
Dude,
And
some
I
guy
did
on
like
some
900
guy on
people that
Instagram was
started
pissed that I
race.
talked shit about Dust Bowl last week. He was
What
like
did you say
pissed.
about Dust Bowl?
Well, I just called it a local race, and he's like, "We won't stand for Dillon calling Dust Bowl a local race."
Well, the guy that won was from Kentucky. The guy who got second was from Michigan. Third was from Indiana. So like
those are all bordering
that's pretty
states.
local if you just look at them. Yeah, I know. So it's like maybe you could call it a regional race.
To win any race is hard.
I won a Southeast gravel race that was in South Carolina. I'm from North Carolina.
Preach it, baby.
Nah,
Preach.
that was easy. That was easy. You shouldn't even talk about that, dude.
No, that's hard. To win a race is hard. You have to beat everyone that shows up. How many people show up to Dust Bowl? Like hundreds?
Look, not
1,000. Yeah.
Winning a race is not always hard. I will say that it's not always hard. A lot of times it's hard, but not always.
Yeah, but it's a good achievement.
Yeah, but did the work that it took to get to that position?
Yeah, exactly.
Was that hard? Like you might be able to win the race easily, but it doesn't mean you got to that place easily.
Or did I just have amazing genetics?
You didn't.
No, you don't. Not as good as Drew's.
I'm just trying to get Drew going. I think Drew is
like, I don't know why.
I think Drew has fully admitted that genetics matter at this point.
I'm from Kentucky. Like,
what does that have to do with genetics?
What part of Kentucky genetics? I don't know. I feel like 99%
dude, your heritage
of
is in Kentucky,
and
like also smoking and drinking doesn't have anything to do with your genetics.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, and half the Euros smoke and drink, and they still race bikes better than most of us.
True.
All right, should we talk about the Olympics or something that people actually care about?
Yeah, did you watch the women's road race?
I did. Yeah, I watched.
The women's road race, Drew.
Dude, what the heck? USA won.
Kristen Faulkner won.
Yeah, what did you think of her? Okay, Scott. What did you think of Kristen Faulkner's celebration at the finish?
Well, when I watched it, I thought she thought that she had another lap because she like kept pedal. Not only did she not celebrate, but she kept like on the gas through the line. And then there's like the brigade of photographers and stuff, and it looked like she was just like kept riding.
Can you confirm whether she thought there was another lap or not?
I can't confirm that. My second thought was that she literally can't ride a bike without hands on the bars, but then I think she celebrated when she won that. So I don't know if that's true either.
I mean, you can always just
make sense. She's new to cycling,
right? It is on cobbles too, right?
She graduated from Harvard.
Isn't the finish on cobbles or kind of cobbly?
The finish wasn't on cobbles.
I don't think it was on cobbles, but I don't know.
It didn't look perfectly smooth. I know. She could have done the Remco.
A minute. She had
she won by a minute, dude.
I thought it was like 25 seconds.
No, dude, it was a minute.
She just raced in Europe all year, and that's why we haven't heard of her.
Well, I just don't think she's gotten a lot of big results.
She won nationals.
Being honest. Uh-oh. Whoops, sorry.
Wait, are you watching it right now?
She also
58 seconds.
58 seconds. Okay.
And
she that much.
She only attacked with like 3.5K to go and put a minute. And the others.
Who does she race for?
She races for EF.
And her like attack, which it was hard to tell that it was attack because it wasn't very like animated, but her attack was badass because she didn't look back for like a long time. Like she just sent it, and that's what you're like supposed to do, right? That's what they always say, like don't look back, just keep looking forward. Like she literally did that. She was like not looking back and didn't realize that she had a gap until she like had a huge gap and looked back.
What we said is like she didn't necessarily win the race, but the others lost. Like they just looked at each other. Like she was first wheel and the chick in second wheel sat up.
Yeah.
She didn't sit up and let the wheel go, and then the others they just looked at each other.
Voss in second?
Yeah. I forget.
I know who that
is.
is.
No, it was Voss. Very
Okay,
confusing.
so you know how at the Olympics,
I
like
think it was Voss.
you can get gold, silver, bronze, and silver and bronze is still a big deal. Where at any other cycling race, second, and third is way less of a big deal than getting gold and bronze. Like, do you think they were just like, okay, well, we can still get a medal, so we're not going to do anything? Like, what were they thinking? I don't get why it was like 3 versus 1, and they just totally sat up and gave up.
I don't know. The other 3 are also have like a pretty good sprint. Like the sprint for silver was like they were all within half a wheel of each other.
Yeah.
So maybe those 3 were like looking at each other, and then Kristen was like the odd one out in that.
Sure.
You know, they weren't worried about her as much because she necessarily doesn't have as good of a sprint.
Mm-hmm.
So then once the gaps opened and nobody reacts immediately, it's like over. Then if you react, you lose.
Mm-hmm.
So then maybe after that, then they thought about but like Voss has won 2 gold medals, Mariana Voss. So
dude, she's won like 20 world championships. She's like by far.
But specifically in the Olympics, she's won twice, which is like it only happens every 4 years, you know.
So she was just like, nah, I don't need to do it again.
Are you trying to say that she didn't need to win again, or what?
I think she would race for the win or nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. Is like for her, it would make it even more motivating to race for the win.
Yeah. So she wasn't gonna. Yeah. She wouldn't. Once they didn't react, it's like she's like, all right, well, that's it. If I pull now, I lose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was also they were probably like completely fucked because it was a pair. I forget who it was. I think it was Voss and Bass. It's very confusing. Their names are very similar. And Lotta Kopecky and Kristen caught them with like 5K to go or something. So then it wasn't like they were looking at each other for 50K,
right,
feeling each other out. It was like at the end of the race that they all came back together.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting.
I mean, sometimes
tell
it
your
helps.
roommates that you'll do the dishes later. Tell them just to leave them. You'll do them later.
No, this is reality. This adds to the authenticity of it.
Yeah, true. Dylan doesn't do dishes.
We don't need any of this fake.
Yeah. Also,
high quality crap,
I'm totally
right?
not gonna do the dishes later. So
then why do we waste? Then we're just. Then why do we pay somebody to edit the episode?
Because that takes time.
And we're making it take longer because of the idiots doing dishes in the background.
Well, she doesn't charge us per hour. She charges per episode.
So
now they're talking. Who is it, Dylan? Who are you? If you just say what their names are, they'll probably stop. Who are you staying with?
They're staying with Sonny and Mike.
He doesn't want to do it.
The names are Sonny and Mike. They're doing dishes right now.
They need to get out. Why do you do a podcast?
Are you actually working at like a work farm?
Yeah.
This is not a work farm.
A podcast in like the main room.
There's no other room. There's like one room in this whole place. I'm staying with 4 dudes in one room.
Reaches to the outhouse.
The outhouse.
Just go hang out in the outhouse.
No, it's just 4 sweaty dudes in one room.
To stay?
Well, yeah, was just.
Do you make like millions from your YouTube channel? Just buy a house,
dude. I haven't even made a YouTube video in like 2 months.
Yeah. Already.
Buy your own farm and get your own cow, and then kill it and hang it up behind you.
Okay.
He's stumped. He's got nothing to say.
He's like, that's a good idea.
Did you guys watch the men's race?
I didn't watch it. I was racing.
Okay.
I watched like the highlight reel. You know, typical.
What happened?
Remco just like soloed in.
Remco soloed. He got a flat tire. He freaked out even though he had a minute.
Yeah,
but you might not have known how much he had because
he was flipping.
There's no radios, and I bet you at a race like the Olympics, I bet you they have like not as experienced like motorcycle guys that are holding up time gaps and stuff. So like,
I mean, believe me,
just, everything's like different than what you're used to.
Yeah, I mean, believe me, no matter what the gap was, if I was about to win a gold medal at the Olympics and then I got a flat tire, I would freak out as well. So
Yeah. Yeah. They thought he was celebrating. They're like, oh, he's celebrating. And then next thing you know, he's not celebrating. He's like freaking out. Like,
you know what he should have done? He was so close to the finish. He should have just.
It was like,
I mean,
it was like
3K or
it was like
something.
3K.
Why didn't he
from
just
the finish.
roll it in?
That's what I'm saying. Like, he should have just rolled it in with a flat tire. How boss would that be? Cross the finish line at the Olympics, first place, and you got a flat.
It must have been. It must have been worse than just. It didn't look like it was totally flat, but I mean, he's not an idiot.
Was there a team car close by to him or something though?
Well, maybe they actually thought he was celebrating if he's like pointing to the rear wheel or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Who celebrates by pointing at the rear wheel?
He obviously got it fixed and still finished.
Yeah, they gave him a new
First.
bike.
Yeah, they gave him a new bike.
Okay.
His team car
They
was
just
right
gave him a whole
behind him. Yeah.
So is it a team car? Was it a national team car? Or was everything neutral service?
No, they have national team cars.
Okay.
Belgium should have their own car, but sometimes, like, I think they'll have, because some countries only have one rider, and there's like 50 countries that can't have 50 cars, so like some countries will share a car.
Okay.
But I would imagine Belgium would have their own car because they had maximum allowance of riders.
So how did he get his gap?
I don't
He
know.
just attacked.
Okay.
Didn't watch.
He attacked and no one could follow except for there was like one dude from France that was on his wheel for a little bit, and then he dropped that dude from France, like not even attacking. He was just riding hard up a climb, and that guy couldn't hang. I should probably remember that guy's name, but I honestly
I mean,
don't.
once Remco, was it the guy who got second? Madouas?
Madouas. That sucks.
Once Remco gets a gap,
France got second in the road race and in the mountain bike race.
Over.
Bummer. Did you guys think Remco could have done? He won. He did the tour a week. He finished the tour a week ago, and then he gets 2 gold medals a week later. Like, that's pretty legit.
So I don't know if you remember, but like Julian Alaphilippe did the same thing. Like he did the tour and then he won the gold. Wait, he didn't win the Olympics. Was it the World Championships that year that he won? Like 1 week after the tour. I think
you're the one.
World Champs was like
telling us this story right now.
World Champs was like a week after the tour, and Julian Alaphilippe won the Road World Championships.
Okay, you guys heard it here first. Dylan said so, so it must be true.
Yeah, but that must have been during like COVID or something, because
I think it was.
The Worlds is usually like the end of September.
Yeah.
No, or what about the year when it was, or when they moved it all to August or whatever, and it was in Scotland?
That was last year.
Okay, and Vanderpool won that.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened to Vanderpool at the Olympics? I thought he was kind of I thought he was going to win.
He's washed, dude. He's washed.
He's washed.
Yeah.
Career's
hang
over.
it up, man. Just hang it up.
Somebody sent me a video of Wout just running into a barrier. You see this group of 3 riders take this turn, and you can't see him for 1 second, and so you see the other 2 guys do the turn, and then you just see Wout's bike come flying through the air without Wout on it, and you're like, what the heck just happened? Like, he just ran into a metal barrier. You guys see that?
No.
Yeah, I did see that.
That dude crashes a lot. Like, he has some pretty gnarly crashes.
I was like, how did that even just happen? Like, he was just in a group. It looked like they were just riding normal. I don't know.
I crashed in Portugal. I can barely pick my coffee cup up anymore. Shoulders all jacked.
Really? How are you going to bow hunt with a jacked up shoulder?
I don't know. I'm not going to be able to practice, actually, for a while. Or jet ski, dude. It's
dang
shoulder.
Dude, what are we gonna?
All things I've been looking forward to.
What are we gonna eat at your wedding if you can't bow hunt?
I'm having a guy cook. Caterer.
Nice.
Yeah, but
the video that has
you have to pay for that food.
Drew, you can
What are you
interrupt
saying,
us
Drew?
now.
The video that has the least. Oh my gosh.
Drew, what are you saying?
The video
bro?
that has the least amount of views on our YouTube channel is the one that says Scott went jet skiing. It has like 50 views. And I was like, I guess that's not what the people
Well,
want.
yeah, because you didn't put a clip of me jet skiing.
Yeah,
If there
dude.
was
I mean,
video footage.
Yeah, you
It's
should have. Yeah, I should have asked you. You probably have some footage of that, don't you?
Well, not really, because when you're jet skiing, like you got to put your phone away because you get soaking wet. So we never really get any cool pictures or videos.
I saw
You
a
know
cool.
what GoPros are for?
I saw a cool video of Adam wakeboarding yesterday. That was rad.
I did see that. That's cool.
Yeah, dude. Adam's like jack of all trades
Are
over
you
here,
in
like
Wisconsin?
pro golfer,
Yeah.
wakeboarder, cyclist extraordinaire.
Yeah, where do you find the energy for this? What's
And
your
you
like
have two
diet?
kids.
What do you mean,
Replicating Adam's
energy?
life.
And two
He's got
kids.
dude, it's because he only
He's got
rides
kids,
his
a
bike
house,
like 5
and he
hours a
does all
week.
the other
Yeah, if that.
When you ride your
That's a
bike
good
5
way to
hours a
start
week,
doing
you have a
that.
lot more energy to do
Yeah, dude.
stuff.
I swear,
And way more time.
I had this exact thought when I saw the video of Adam wakeboarding. I'm like, think of how much more fun I might have if I trained less and just like did fun stuff like that with my family. And it was almost like
Yeah,
a
dude.
come to reality moment. I was like,
Yeah, you should quit,
maybe,
Drew.
maybe I should do that. Like,
Dude, like yesterday was just like the middle of the day, and I was gonna go train, but I was like, I don't really have to. And instead, my wife and I just went on like a day date. We just like went downtown, got some lunch, went to like a record store,
What do you
checked
do
out
with
some
the kids?
vinyls, dude.
you just let
They're
you-
at
you-
daycare.
We're at daycare.
Oh, yeah. We
Whereas
don't
like
do
any
daycare.
other year, I would have been like, nope, got to go train, got to go ride my bike for 3 hours by myself, be a
Yeah,
loser.
dude, biking sucks. Biking like ruins your life.
I mean, wouldn't it be way better to be a runner and then like you could just run for an hour or two a day?
Yeah,
No,
this
'cause running
weekend.
sucks.
Like 7 hour rides, man. What? Jeez.
This weekend I rode 7 hours and 5 hours, and somebody on yesterday was like, "So you're good for a while now, right? Like you can just take the next couple weeks off. You got enough volume in." And I was like,
Take the
I
next
wish.
couple
Like,
weeks off.
"That's-
What?
Yeah, I swear.
weeks?
They were like, "Yeah, you're good to go. You'll be good for that race in 2 weeks." And I'm like, I mean, I wish it worked like that, but
Dude,
not
who
quite.
was this person?
You should try it though. Just take the next couple weeks off and see how it goes.
I was like, yeah, that would be awesome if that's what worked. Put in 2 good days and then take 2 weeks off. I would love that. But unfortunately, greatness requires a bit more than that.
Yeah.
You guys ever
I mean,
heard
and
that
you're-
quote? Everybody wants
apparently
to.
so does
Everybody
mediocrity.
everybody wants to be great until they realize what greatness requires. Oh, that's a tattoo right there. That is a tattoo.
I mean, if
Actually,
you got,
Dylan,
if you-
I was thinking,
I was gonna say, if you got
What
that
were you saying?
tattoo without actually
Dylan,
achieving
you're-
greatness,
Dylan,
that'd be embarrassing.
your audio is off, Dylan. You're like 2 seconds behind, and it's really screwing
he's
us
got
It
a
up.
took you,
cowhide
it took
in the
you
background. He's
33
got
minutes to
Wi-Fi?
figure that out, dude. We knew that from the
It's
beginning.
so
He's-
like,
it's
but because
it's
it's
two
Dylan, none
second
of us will
lag.
say anything. It's like, well, he's Mr. Popular guy over here, but like, dude,
Why
your
would
audio-
you not say anything,
wrong
wait.
with
dude?
your
So wait. So we can
It's
make
just
fun of him
screw it,
about
man.
getting the age group podium at Unbound, but we can't tell him when his audio is 2 seconds lag.
It is so annoying. It's like
Okay,
the 2
I'm
seconds
sorry that the
that
Wi-Fi
it's just
in this
Yep.
in this farm sucks.
It's probably because you're up at Leadville. It takes so long for those like the internet ethers to like get up there.
Yeah, dude. I don't know anything about internet ethers, but yeah, makes sense.
I had an
Science,
awesome
bro.
tattoo idea that I would never get, but then I was like, this is a tattoo. Like, this is a Dylan tattoo. But I'm blanking on what it was. It was something. It was awesome.
Was
It was
a
just
liger?
another. It was just an
No,
animal
it was
mixed
a-
with
it
another
was-
animal.
It was it was very similar to that. Dang
Was
it.
it a barilla? But you haven't thought about that one.
Whatever it was awesome. I think I said,
Was it a giraffe?
Yeah, no. Just open up, Redfin. No. Yeah, red fish, blue fish, one fish, two fish by Dr. Seuss. And
What?
towards the end of that book, the animals start getting crazy. There's this one animal called
Oh,
Clark.
yeah.
If you got a tattoo of Clark, I'm telling you, do you want me? I'll pull it up. I'm going to pull it up. Clark from
Dude, yeah,
One Fish,
Clark
Two
is-
Fish.
yeah.
This
Clark
is a
is-
Dillman
Time.
tattoo.
Mark what time we are at the podcast. I guarantee you there's a listenership fall off at this point.
All right, here we go. Here we
Yeah,
go.
dude, everyone's pulling out their phone to look at
This
what
is
Clark looks like.
100% a
Dude,
Dillman
every time
tattoo.
Drew
All right, here,
speaks,
I'm
there's
sharing.
a listenership fall off.
Wow. Wow. Just,
All right, while
Can't
Drew's looking this up,
You're
should we
so
start
weird.
talking
Are
about
you-
Leadville or
All
something?
right, here you go.
No,
Yeah, are
dude,
you
what?
doing Leadville?
Bro, that tattoo
All right.
is round and gross looking. And there's 2 kids on it.
It's like some weird animal. There's some weird animal in a like in a jar, and his name is Clark.
I would literally
Look
never
what we
get
found
that.
at the park. We'll take him home.
No,
His
dude,
name is Clark.
don't
Will
start
our
reading.
mama
Stop.
like this?
Ugh.
We don't know.
Okay. Well,
That's great.
Oh, there's someone's training peaks.
Clark. You should be, that should be like, that's a good calf tattoo. You should get Clark tattooed on your calf.
nah, I didn't like that idea. Anyway,
No.
let's
You
start
should
talking
get the
about Leadville
Barilla.
already, dude. This
All
is the pre-Leadville podcast.
Is it this weekend?
Yeah,
So you've been in Leadville since when? Last Wednesday or something?
well, I'm in Breckenridge, but yeah, basically.
Dylan told me
Um,
last week he's going to get top 10 at Leadville. Oh, there it is. There it is. It's out in the open. he said, don't jinx it. Well, there's no better way to
Well,
jinx it other than throwing it down
Leadville
on
is
the
not
podcast.
Leadville's not as stacked as Unbound. So
I told him that if he gets top 10 at Leadville and at Unbound, he should just retire. That's like the best he's ever going to be.
that might be 2024 MVP status.
Yeah. For at least for us, normal folk.
Yeah, for the
of,
normies.
Normal VO2 levels.
Yeah. So Dizzle, when you getting out here?
So
huh?
wait, so you're in Breckenridge.
Yeah, I'm in Breckenridge.
I'm doing the approach where you show up hours before the start so that the acclimation doesn't affect you as much.
I think there's something to that.
Yeah.
When I did Gila, I didn't feel any altitude till the last stage.
And
I felt better. I felt better.
And because I don't want to be on a flight because that's bad for your legs too. I'm hopping on the train. So I'm going to take a train Friday night over to Leadville so I can race.
Wouldn't that be the same thing? You're sitting in a seat for an
It'd be way
extended period
worse,
of time.
dude. you're on the train for like
on
5
the
times
train,
as
if
long.
I get my own little room, I can bring my trainer. It'd be good to go. Spend the
Dude,
whole way there.
You're gonna train on the train?
Train on the train. This is the Dizzle train. Taking the Dizzle train
That
to
sounds
Leadville.
that sounds like a Dr. Seuss training plan.
Yes. I told Dylan
Alright.
we should write a training book together. Maybe it would be Dr. Seuss style.
So
I-
Dylan,
Dr.
so
Seuss style
you,
training.
I know you've been doing some pre-rides on the course. Can you confirm Powerline looked pretty smooth this year?
It is the same
Like, is it-
as
is it
every
pretty
other
tame?
year, except that they cut some trees down, so there's debris. The course hasn't changed, except there is like
Darn that debris.
now
Well,
they're
the
cutting
course
through a
has
field
changed,
for
though.
some reason, but
Yeah, and there's a new aid station, right?
yeah, where they're cutting through a field. Other than that, I mean, it's pretty much the same. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have predictions?
Have you run into Keegan at all out there?
Yeah, dude. I seen him. I don't know what I'm allowed to say. When's this podcast come out?
Did you
That's
invite
what I was
him
wondering.
onto the... Did you
Podcast comes
invite
out
him?
Thursday.
You should have invited him on.
I would imagine by Thursday something about Keegan's bike setup will come
Yeah.
out, right?
I don't know. Do you
Oh.
think we could talk about it, or you think we can't talk about it? I told him that I would keep it secret
dude.
for as long as
What's
he
he gonna-
keeps it secret.
Is he going to sue us? What's he going to... We've got a legal team. Like, whatever.
Wait,
yeah.
wait.
Tell them
So
to sue us.
I mean, we don't want to like actually spoil the news, but
Why
We
would
can
it?
just,
Why would
we'll
it
talk
matter?
about it next week. We'll talk about it next week. Because I'm assuming like
No, if we talk about it this week, we'll get. If we talk about it this week, we'll get the attention for it. That's why we would talk about it right now. If
No,
we know.
If he asked him not to talk about it,
yeah.
don't talk about it.
But this
No
podcast
respect
isn't
to
even
his
going to
privacy.
come out till like later, anyways. So it's
Yeah,
fine.
but
well, he's
But if it came out
probably
before
gonna
the race.
he's
then-
probably
Yeah.
gonna post his bike on Friday, and this
Why don't we-
podcast is gonna come out on Thursday.
that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking
Yeah.
that it'll probably come out the day after we post this. So
Only
let's,
the like
let's-
genuine followers will hear about it. And they're not friends with Keegan. Like, what are they gonna send it to Keegan and be like,
They're gonna
"Oh my
send
God,
it to
Bonk Bros
Keegan
talked
for
about
sure,
bike."
dude. They're gonna send it to. Okay, we'll talk about it next week.
No.
We'll talk about
All
it
right,
next
we,
week.
we won't talk
well,
about
let's
Yeah.
do that thing where we speculate that like I might
Let's
have
talk
seen
about- let's
Keegan
just talk
on
about-
his drop bar
it. Let's talk
hardtail
about
this
Dylan's
week.
drop bar mountain bike.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about Dylan's drop bar mountain bike.
I might have seen him on the new 2.4 Schlanga Blanga whatever tires, you know, with the sealant and stuff.
The Schlonga Blonga tires. Man, Maxis should hire you.
Yeah,
You got some
I'll
good
tell you,
naming.
like tire names.
You've been
that's
way
what
tuned into that Dr. Seuss lately.
what sells tires is not anything about. You get a good name and you pay off the roller guy, and you're good to go.
What do you think the ST? What does the ST stand for in Aspen ST, Drew?
Super turbo.
Super. There it is.
I've been thinking about that because there's
I knew you'd
there's
come
a
up with
car
something.
called the Focus ST, and I've already thought through what ST stands for, and I think it means super turbo.
It stands for slow turd.
But STs.
Did Dylan? Did you see Cole Patton's bike, dude? He built up a 15-pound mountain bike that he's gonna race.
Yeah, I don't
in
know,
Leadville.
dude. I don't know if I believe that scale. I'm gonna be honest. Now, I did
know.
see that
I
he
was,
didn't
like,
have.
trying to do the math in my head.
Did he borrow Payson's scale? Maybe it's
He
the
didn't-
same one that Payson uses.
He didn't have pedals and he didn't have bottle cages, right? So it's not actually a raceable bike, right? Because it doesn't have pedals and bottle cages, but it did have a dropper post
Oh,
on
yeah,
it. I was
yeah,
like,
yeah. My
Mm,
bike.
I think it had pedals on it.
My bike weighs
no,
14
no, it
pounds
didn't,
if I
dude.
take
Go
the
back
wheels
and watch
off.
the video. It didn't have pedals.
Oh, it didn't. Okay.
No pedals, no bottle cages. So
Okay,
look,
so that's a pound. So it's
But
really
still,
16 and a half pounds.
dude, it's like there's now you can weight weenie out a hardtail and make it 16 pounds, but that was just a standard giant bike with I don't know what wheels. I don't know if he's running like
I know.
non-sponsor correct
with
wheels,
a
but
dropper post.
with a dropper post, dude, like you can't make just some stock bike with like stock parts 16 a mountain bike 16 pounds. You have to like really try and be a real weight weenie and spend real money to get your hardtail to 16 pounds. Like I almost feel like he's like trolling. Like
Yeah.
I think he found a scale that didn't work and he was trolling the internet.
I know. I had the lightest production mountain bike frame that you could possibly buy the last few years, and the lightest that I ever got it with pedals and cages and Garmin mounts and stuff like that, and
And
a high
sealant.
post.
Sealant.
Mhm.
Yeah, sealant, like fully rideable, was like 19.1 pounds, which
Yeah,
was still super light. But like,
I'm
to take 3 pounds off that.
Yeah, I think he's trolling the internet. I think he found a scale that doesn't work right, and he's trolling the internet. Because I don't believe that bike was 15
Yeah.
pounds. Also,
He also had like a 42 tooth chainring on there.
yeah, 42 tooth
Massive
is the new
chainring.
standard. 42 tooth is
What do
like
you
what
run?
Lachlan rode last year, and now like all of the dudes in the top 5 are gonna have 42 tooth.
What do you got?
36.
36.
Oh my god! How can you be going fast? How can you even go fast?
Well,
that
it
the
is a
biggest you
mountain
can
bike
fit?
race, Scott. So what?
Is it the biggest you can fit?
No, I can fit bigger, but there's a lot of steep climbing at Leadville. I don't know. I don't like if you have a 42, it means that you have to be in your biggest cog in the back for like pretty much all of Columbine, which is a lot of cross chaining.
True.
So inefficient.
Yeah. So
yeah, but if you're in your 36, are you in your 10 tooth for all the flats?
That's pretty inefficient.
That's
too.
also cross chaining.
Yeah, I mean, but the climbs matter more than the flats in terms of time gained.
I think
so.
Think
going back to Cole Patton's bike,
is worse in a 10 than it is.
So going back to Cole Patton's bike, the other thing that he did was like he said no stone unturned, and somebody sent it to me, and they're like, "Oh, look at Cole Patton's
bars."
He does have the Gemini bars. He said, "Look at Cole Patton's bike, no stone unturned." And my response was, "Except for the bars," for multiple reasons. One, those bars
because they're heavy, or because they're junk and they crack in half as soon as they touch the ground.
My point was, except for the bars, because the bars aren't aero, dude. It's because they're not drop bars. Like if you're no stone unturned at Leadville, you need drop bars on your bike.
Yeah, but what if you have bars that create the same body position as drop bars, but they're not drop bars? Why does it matter if they have drops on them?
Are you saying
what if you have flat bars that are?
Are you saying flat mountain bike bars create the same body position as drop bars?
I'm saying they could.
Okay, well, just throw some flat bars on your road bike then. Like, why do you even have drop bars on your road bike?
200 mil, put like a 200 mil stem on and 40 centimeter flat bars.
Yeah, why don't you put that on your road bike, bro? Put that on your road bike. That seems like it would create the same body position.
It's illegal.
Do they actually have a
UCI rules?
Do they actually have a rule about that?
Probably. They have a rule about everything. Oh, Sam Boardman got these, like, I think they're like 32 centimeter bars or something, and then I think they're 35s at the drops, and they were like measuring them like every day at the race to check if they were legal or not. And they were putting the little jigs on our hoods. You know, they have that angle rule.
Did you do the old whacker with the wrist whack to do it?
Who am I whacking?
The whack-a shifter. The whack-a-shifter method, where you're like...
No, because I'm a rule
follower. There you go.
In some ways.
I mean, you could be a rule follower and then just unfollow the rule during the race. And
so, Dylan, what are your hoods? Are they conforming or non-conforming?
Well, on my mountain bike, my hoods are, I would say, fairly straight. On my
Dylan, Trey said you're running 42s, bro.
42s.
Those are big.
All right. Well, I think I need to remind you guys that this is a mountain bike and it's a mountain bike race. Like, I want to be able to downhill the bike well. You realize what bars everyone else in the race, except for a few notable riders that I won't mention, are running. Like, everyone else is running mountain bike bars.
A few notable riders.
Notable riders with initials KS, maybe.
I'm not gonna say.
Dylan, you
are any of those former winners of this race? Maybe.
Dylan, you sent in a text message like a few weeks ago. You said that Leadville will forever from this point be a drop bar mountain bike race.
Well, this is. We'll talk about all of this next week. We'll talk about all of this next week. Yeah.
And we know that it ain't because of you. Because
yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk
about it next week. I don't want to spill any. I mean, we've already spilled the beans. If like people can read between the lines, but
it's actually because I'm going. It's actually because I'm going and I'm coming with drop bars on my mountain bike, and that's
Dylan, have you heard of anyone? You don't have to give names, changed. Obviously. Have you heard of anyone who's planning to race a proper gravel bike?
Yeah.
Oh.
I have. I think there's some people.
Stetna would do that, wouldn't he?
No, Stetna wouldn't do it.
There's
What?
some people who are
Really?
planning to race like a gravel
seen
bike
him
with
doing that.
mountain bike tires and a gravel suspension fork, which so check this out. I actually did some calculations for like a full suspension versus a hardtail and a dropper post versus no dropper post.
Check this out, bros. I did some home calculations. Okay, buddies. Well, let's listen up. Let's listen to Dylan's calculations.
So,
Calculate us.
like, have you ever
Calculate us,
played
buddy.
around? Have you ever played around with Best Bike Split?
Yeah.
You're the only one.
What? No,
I've
I have.
just said yes.
Anyone who's ever done Leadville has. Yeah.
Okay, so assuming that a full suspension is 2 pounds heavier than a hardtail, at the power output that I'll be doing and the pace that I'll be doing the race at, it was only 2.5 minutes difference.
Okay.
So
And that's just for the weight penalty.
That's just the weight penalty. So you would have to basically, in order to make a full suspension worth it, you'd have to say, okay, well, I can make up 2.5 minutes over the bumpy stuff or whatever, which I think you could easily do. Dude, 2.5 minutes is not a lot.
Dude, I almost bet you can make up 2.5 minutes on the climbs just by having better traction with the full suspension.
Yeah. Okay, so a dropper post.
I went just as fast. Never mind.
A dropper post. My dropper post is about 250 grams heavier than my straight post, which is about a half pound. That was only 40 seconds for the whole course. So just if you're adding in the weight penalty, it's a 40-second penalty to have a dropper post for the whole course. Like, I was thinking about it. I was like, there's no way I'm not making up 40 seconds with a dropper post. So I put the dropper post back on my bike.
So for every pound heavier that your bike weighs, it's about 1 minute and 20 seconds extra. So the difference between racing a 20-pound bike and a 30-pound bike would be 15 minutes.
Who's got a
13
30-pound bike at Leadville?
13 minutes, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just
sure.
saying that I think that a 30-pound bike would be more of a disadvantage than that.
Okay, well, we did the math.
Here's the thing, though. It's the whole it's the whole system weight. So one, it depends on how heavy your whole system is, but 10 pounds relative to the system weight is actually not that much.
Also, 13 minutes is a lot,
dude.
dude.
Raced a 30-pound bike.
Dude, you realize that 13 minutes at Leadville, that's probably 15 places. Like, that's the difference between getting 15th, which is a good day, and 30th.
It wasn't even the difference between first and between first and second last year.
But Dizzle, check this out.
He could have raced on a 30-pound bike.
Yeah, he could have, dude. He could have raced a freaking enduro bike. Dude, the difference between Keegan first and Alexi second was the same as the difference between Alexi second and whoever got 20th. Like, the difference between first and second and 20th was the same. That's how much Keegan blew us all out of the water. So what I'm saying is, like, if you have a 30-pound bike versus a 20-pound bike, you're like, oh, that's not that big a difference. It's like, dude, that's the difference between getting, 15th place and 30th place. That's huge.
So, and this is just for all the people out there. So, one, that's at Dylan's speed. So, you're talking 6 hours versus 6 hours and 13 minutes, right? So, we're not talking the average rider who's trying to finish in sub 9 or 10 or whatever. So, that you have to account that in, how much time you're on course and how fast you're going.
Yeah.
But still, that goes to show, like, if it's spending 10 grand on a bike to go from 30 pounds to 20-pound bike, or spending like 3 grand on coaching for a year, like, fitness is going to take you way more than 13 minutes. Like, you're going to save, you could save hours.
I didn't know where you were going with that, but I like how you I didn't know where you were going with that, but I like how you you finagled a coaching ad in there. That was good.
It's totally
Ignition
accurate.
Coach Co.
It's totally true.
Official sponsor of the Bonk Bros podcast.
So guess what? What best bike splits?
If money is
yeah, we paid for all the T-shirts and all the bottles. That was like $2,000, dude.
Dude,
I think that's
if
more
it's
than
true-
I think that's more than any other sponsor has kicked in.
That's
so
not
guess
true.
what? Guess what?
And
Best Bike
this
Splits.
podcast wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Ignition Coach Co.
All right. So guess what? Best Bike Splits claims that the advantage is from drop bars.
So we're just looking at drop bars. So otherwise, equivalent bike.
Yeah, equivalent
And
bike,
you kept
same
the
same
the
weight,
same?
just drop bars.
And 1 hour.
No. It's probably 9 minutes.
It was 15 minutes.
How
So
can you even
15
even
minutes.
calculate this?
it's
They're taking
people
into consideration
people calculate
aerodynamics
this all-
and weight and
dude,
and
people
the
calculate
elevation
this
of
all the
course.
time, man.
Yeah, it's a,
Okay, so let me
Best Bike
throw this
Split's
out
actually,
here.
Like pretty sophisticated. Yeah.
Yeah, let me throw this out here. I don't think the actual savings is 15 minutes because Best Bike Splits is assuming that you are going faster on the downhills with drop bars than with flat bars because they're not taking into account how technical the downhills are. And the other thing they're not taking into account is that there are certain sections of the course where you can do puppy paws no matter what bars you're on. So you can do puppy paws on mountain bike bars or drop bars, and you'll be going essentially the same speed.
Well, and they're not accounting for drafting.
Sure, that too. But like I did calculations taking into account the two factors that I just listed, the puppy paws thing and the fact that you actually probably will be going slower on certain descents with the drop bars. Like I gave a disadvantage to the drop bars on Powerline and Columbine. And what I came out with was 6 minutes. They're 6 minutes faster.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see. Like, I'm curious to see what your times are this year, being on the full suspension with the descents. Because last year I didn't feel like the drop bars were any disadvantage. Like my descending times were the same, if not even a little bit faster, even on the drop bars compared to the year before with the flat bars. What I thought the limiting factor was the hard tail. So having a soft tail, I think, is a huge advantage for the descents. So I'd be curious to see how it goes this year for you.
Yeah, we'll see.
What tires you running?
Schwalbe Thunderbird 2.35s, which are super sketchy, but they're fast.
Have you tried the Aspen ST?
No. I don't honestly, I don't really want to
Just not even
run it.
interested.
I don't really want to run a Maxxis tire ever again. After they lied about the max speed compound, I'm over Maxxis.
Okay, so it's an ethical thing for you.
I don't know if I would call it ethical, but it's just like, dude, you're talking about how much faster this max speed compound is, and then it's slower. Like, what happened? How'd you guys botch this so hard?
It was funny. Last week I posted on the Instagram a picture of my garage, and I had a bunch of tires in the garage after we recorded, and I was like, "Which Bonk Bros do you think tire stash is this?" And everyone responded with "Well, if there's Maxxis in there, you know it's not Dillon's."
Yeah, they're right. They're right. Yeah. Yeah. Maxxis sucks.
I was just going to ask if you thought the Thunderbirds were sketchier than the Aspen STs.
I mean, probably. Dude, this Thunderbirds do not handle well. I mean, they're a really fast tire, but they do not have a lot of grip. So
do you don't think that will be a detriment on the descents?
Well, Bike Split says it's not.
Well, dude, so I mean, to your point, you made this point last week. There's not a lot of hard cornering on the course. Like it's just a lot of just straight line. You know what I mean? So if you're in a straight line, it's not a big deal. I did do a mountain bike race, I did do a mountain bike ride on some more technical trails that had really, really technical switchbacks. and I was riding. So I was on my drop bar mountain bike with no dropper post, and I was riding with this dude who was on a trail bike with like meaty downhill tires and a dropper post. But normally this guy is so slow on the descents, and I'm waiting for him, and he was like right on my wheel, and I was like, oh dang, like either I got way worse at descending, or like this bike, the drop bar mountain bike with no dropper and those tires on like actual mountain bike trails kind of sucks.
Yeah, it makes like taking switchbacks so much slower. Like I don't know exactly what it is, but you just can't lane the bike the way that you need to, like through tight switchbacks.
Yeah.
And even like uphill switchbacks makes it kind of suck too.
The drop bar or the tires?
No, the drop bars.
The drop bar.
I will. Tires. I mean,
what I'll say about the drop bar mountain bike is like, after I made a big deal about the drop bar mountain bike at Leadville and Schwamigan last year, like anytime somebody builds a drop bar mountain bike, they send it to me. And they're like, look at this, dude. I just built my own drop bar mountain bike. Even my dad built a drop bar mountain bike. And he doesn't even race.
Sick.
But like
definitely a listener.
So this might disappoint all those people, but I don't. So unless I'm training for Leadville or Schwamigan, I don't ever. My drop bar mountain bike last year after Schwamigan was done sat in my shed the rest of the year, and I didn't ride it once. Like, because I just
because it's stupid.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to ride it. Like, if I was going to a place that required a mountain bike, I just wanted a normal mountain bike. And if I was going to a place that required a gravel bike, I just wanted a gravel bike. It's like it's a bike perfectly designed for a very narrow niche. And honestly, outside of that niche, it's not that fun a bike, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, so I'll rebuke that just a little bit. I don't live in Brevard, so I don't get to ride sick mountain bike trails whenever I want to go mountain biking. So like for me, when I'm doing a ride that's like a 3 or 4 hour ride, and I want to be able to hit some single track, like in town single track, which is super tame that you could ride on like a cyclocross bike, but then I also want to go ride like gravel or something like that. The drop bar mountain bike is sick for me because I can kind of do anything I want on that bike in town. But I agree. If I was going to a mountain bike destination, that bike would likely stay home. I would bring my full sus mountain bike. But I found it to be like the bike that I actually trained on the most last year because I could do anything I wanted on that bike.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Could you do a 1 mile wheelie? Could you do a wheelie for a mile? Yeah, on that bike.
Nah, dude,
I can't. You could do anything you want.
I suck at wheelies, man. I can't do wheelies on any bike.
Well, then you can't do anything on that bike.
It may
but like
have...
Dylan, where you live, you probably ride more road than I do. Like I never ride road. And your like gravel riding is probably more just like if you're going to go out for a gravel ride, you're going to ride mostly just gravel roads. Like you're not going to dip into single track and stuff like that.
Here's the thing. I think the thing about where I live that makes the drop bar mountain bike not fun is that if you are mountain biking in Brevard, a drop bar mountain bike is really not fun on the mountain bike trails because every mountain bike trail in Brevard is like downhill, like a significant downhill. It's not like you're just cruising some easy trails. And I'm not saying every single trail is hard, but if you go into Pisgah, it's like every trail is a significant downhill.
Yeah, that's what and that's more or less what I'm saying. I agree with that.
The drop bar hardtail would be a good bike for the war daddy.
If I ever do that race,
bumpy and a lot of climbing.
Yeah, if I ever do that race, I'll bring it.
Full sus would be a good bike for that bike. Yeah, not even.
If I'm this checked out at this point in the podcast, I don't think anyone's listening anymore.
All right,
accurate.
Let's give quick Leadville prediction, and then let's hit some listener questions, and then we'll peace.
Are we predicting what place Dylan's gonna get, or because that's all I care about?
Yeah, you can do that.
I think you're gonna get
11th,
7th place.
7th.
Wow, dude.
Thanks, Scott.
Sick.
I'm not saying which category.
Look how stoked Dylan just got.
Nice.
This is after you take out half the people that beat you.
Yeah, these days you can just make up your own category after the finish line and call it. whatever place you want.
Yeah, are we talking about seventh
I'd
grade?
say Dylan could be first drop bar again, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
I
should
don't
start
know. That's not
posting,
gonna
like,
happen.
when I do these lifetime races, I should start posting, like, instead of like what place I got in the lifetime series, what place I got in the non-lifetime riders. Like, take out all the lifetime riders. Because if that were the case, I'd be getting podium every race probably.
Remember when you were racing
Take out all the top
cyclocross?
guys, and
Remember when you were racing cyclocross and you took out all the
I know,
Euros?
besides that one.
Riders, homie.
not that one. That one sucked overall. What?
Remember
Yeah,
when you
that's
were
what I would
racing
do every time.
cyclocross and you took out all the Euros?
Take out all the Euros, and I'm like, pretty good.
All right, so Dylan, I'm not quite as optimistic as Scott, but I was gonna say 9th from the gun. So
Oh wow!
I think you're gonna do one better than Unbound.
Dang.
I'll take
I'm saying
9th.
11th.
Ooh,
'Cause I would love to see
All right.
Dylan just barely fail at reaching his goal.
so
Thanks, man.
I don't think
friends.
anyone's gonna take down Keegan unless something catastrophic happens. So Keegan's definitely gonna be my number one. But I think everyone on the podium is gonna break 6 hours this year.
Okay. All right, Dizzle. Do you have a prediction for the women's race?
Yeah, so I think there's going to be a sleeper win. I'm taking Deanna Melis.
Oh wow! All right.
Yeah.
Is she the one that won? She won Iceman.
What
Yeah.
about Melissa?
I like
Dude,
that.
Melissa won the stage race.
I did see that. Got to put it together for the entire ride though. I don't know if she has. I don't know if she quite has the same stamina.
Oh my, dude, she got third at Unbound one time, like 2 years ago, or fourth. I don't know if it was third or fourth. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Melissa, I can't remember.
That was in 2022. It's 2 years ago.
Is
Yeah.
Sophia racing?
So what are you
Yes,
talking
Sophia
about,
racing.
dude? She, of
I
course,
said
she has
sleeper
stamina.
pick. I said sleeper pick.
All right,
I just said it was a sleeper pick.
Melissa's
Kind of
also a sleeper pick.
I mean, not
though.
that Deanna's like unknown. I agree, but
What about Donnie Shrewsbury?
I was like, who's
Unfortunately,
Donnie?
she's not. Unfortunately, she's not coming.
Smart.
So don't pick her.
that kind of sucks.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the other sleeper pick, Melissa.
Cool. I think it's a good pick.
Yeah.
I like it too.
I don't feel confident enough to make predictions for this race. The only thing I know is that Keegan got the record. So
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and then like for the men's side, I think it's obvious. Like Keegan, like you said, Adam, Keegan's gonna have to have a catastrophic
predictions on who's gonna get. Maybe a more exciting is prediction for second. Who's gonna get second? Is it gonna be that Gaston guy? Gaston.
He's already gotten second. So I mean, that's not a bad pick. I would say Cole Patton and his 15-pound bike.
Stetna.
No, dude.
Stetna and his dad Watts.
Dizzle, do you know who came ahead of Stetna
Matt
last
Beer's
year?
having a pretty good race.
Oh, let me take a guess. Keegan?
Keegan came ahead of everyone
You
last
did.
year. Yeah, dude. I was one place ahead of Stetna last year at Leadville.
Wow, you beat a former World Tour rider. Wow.
At his own game too. At a climbing
dad.
race.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like his own game, but kind of not, because
How much climbing is there at Leadville?
11,000
12,000
feet.
So it's not even that much. It's not even like half the stages of Portugal had more than that.
Yeah. Scott would wipe you guys up. He
Yeah,
would
it's
light.
nothing,
He would.
dude.
He would light
You
Stetna
can just
up.
buzz over 12,000 feet. You can just, use your momentum for that.
So I think Scott would light me up at any other race. But my prediction for Scott, if he came to Leadville, would be like 30th place.
What about for me?
35th.
Come on, don't be nice.
Dude,
Really?
I think I would do terrible because I would care so little that I would have some catastrophic bike problem because I wouldn't do any I can't deal with this bike setup stuff. I don't have the energy for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Floats
when
over,
I come home,
he'll float over 12,000 feet of climbing, but he won't lube his chain.
that's the best part about
He doesn't have to
road
lube his chain if
racing.
he's waxing it.
Yeah.
Road racing, you have the same bike every time. Maybe change the chain ring. That's it.
We're not allowed to talk about the new SILCA product, but we're allowed to talk about that there is a new product coming in the horizon, right? Some exciting stuff.
Yeah, you just can't say anything about it.
Yep,
there's a new product coming, and you better get in line because I think this stuff's gonna sell out fast.
Yeah.
Dude, there's
Pretty
so
legit.
many things on this podcast that we talked about how we can't talk about. What else should we talk about? What we can't talk about?
That's why
you gotta keep people on the edge of their seats.
you gotta just gotta tune in next week.
Dizzle, where are you?
Gotta keep 'em coming
Where are you
back.
going for vacation this winter? Huh? Should we talk about that?
I want to go to Ecuador, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Oh, okay. I guess we can talk
I think
about
we
it.
can talk about it now.
All right. Well,
it's not happening.
Yeah, I think because it's not gonna happen. Then it was just a dream and a dream crush.
I don't know why it was ever secretive. Anyways,
Yeah, I had my reasons.
okay.
All right, we got listener questions.
Should we hit some listener questions? Yeah.
I think Quito, Ecuador, is the highest capital city of any country. It's
Dude,
at 9,000 feet. So
literally-
you can get a $500 round trip ticket from here to Quito.
Dizzle.
I think that's
Dizzle,
cheaper
Dizzle.
than
Dizzle.
that's cheaper than
Literally-
if I were to go to Colorado. And it's summer all the time in
Hey,
Ecuador.
hey,
It's
Dizzle.
amazing.
Dizzle. Literally, no one cares.
And
Not a single
you can
person.
get a Coke. You can get a glass bottled Coke. And if you return the glass bottle when you're done, it only costs 20 cents.
Still,
Tell me that that's not worth flying to Quito for.
still no one cares. Still not a single person.
Hmm.
All right. Brian wants to know why Scott and Dizzle didn't show up for Littleton Crit. Was Scott too busy on his jet skis?
No, I was in Portugal.
You don't have to get offended, bro. It's just a question.
Dude, this is how Scott answers. Like, I remember in college, just mundane questions. You'd be like, "Hey man, how's your day going?" And he's like, "It's going freaking good, okay?" You'd be like, "Yo, Scott, you riding today?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm riding." What do you think, I'm a pussy?
Hey, I'm enthusiastic. There's nothing wrong with being enthusiastic, right? I'm excited.
All right, Scott.
only
here's
time
one
I'm-
for you. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the only time I'm that pissed when somebody
Yeah.
asks me a generic question is like when they ask me like what tires I'm gonna run.
What do you think? Of course, the Race Kings, except when I want to race Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
This is from Tanner. Tanner says, newer listener here, and I do enjoy nerding out on tires, but I have heard some of you guys talking about shooting bows. How about you give us the rundown on your bow and arrow specs, brand, model of the bow, draw length, poundage, what arrows y'all shooting,
I feel like as the only
broadhead
listener,
preference, and then what are y'all primarily hunting, where, and what's a dream hunt?
This is
a lot of
way
questions.
too
of
many
all the
questions
people
in
on
one
this
question.
podcast, like being
Yeah,
from
but it's
Kentucky.
a quick roll off. So
Yeah.
what does he want? Poundage? My bow's like 70 pounds.
What's your bow setup? So like what bow you shooting? What are your arrows? And
I have a
what's your
Hoyt Tor X. I'm shooting AliExpress arrows. I use a Schwacker broadhead. I guess that's pretty much it.
At least
You're
this
still
question
shooting
is for
those
Scott because
AliExpress
he's at
arrows?
least gonna keep it quick. you know?
Yeah.
And
If
then
this
70-pound draw.
If this
I
question
have
was for
a
Dizzle,
single-
we'd be here for
single,
another hour.
We'd be done if you'd stop interrupting him.
Drop-away rest. My range is 20 to 60 yards on my sight.
Maybe I'll
Actually,
watch
to 80, but I don't really shoot to 80.
Maybe I'll watch some Hunger Games later and get all the energy and the motivation
Scott,
to
do
try
you
bow
have-
hunting.
Do you have like a sliding sight then?
Yeah, dial sight.
Okay, dial sight. Yeah, that's sick.
I don't know if I like it for practicing, but for hunting, I don't think it's.
Everything
It's not
you
as-
just
like,
listed.
that's what
what
I've
is the
wondered
total?
is-
What's the total cost of that whole package that you just said, Scott?
I bought my bow with the rest and the sight for $400 used, and then I bought the arrows for probably like $50. Broadheads are expensive; they're about $10 a pop.
But
What
it's
is
like
a broadhead?
relatively expensive.
Like what the point of the arrow that goes through the deer.
Oh,
So then it's like expandable. So when it is flying, it's real small, so it doesn't affect the flight of the arrow.
Dude,
and then when
honestly,
it hits the deer, it
none of
expands
this-
the blade.
None of this is
Cuts it
nearly
more.
as expensive as I thought it would be.
No,
No.
Cycling is so much more expensive.
It's nothing compared to cycling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean
dude,
you can spend more. Like we're definitely like amateur bow hunter. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like somebody mountain bike, you could spend $400 on a mountain bike and go mountain biking.
Yeah, I guess that's
no,
true.
but you're not on a $400 mountain bike though. You're on like a $4,000 mountain bike.
Like my bow equivalent
Yeah.
to a mountain bike.
Yeah.
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 But then, like, all right, if you want to talk about once you need a boat to go hunting or fishing, then it gets expensive.
I mean, once you need a boat
Dramatically
for
more.
anything, yeah.
Yeah. But, like, a boat is like to go hunting at a certain point, you're going to need a boat if you want to hunt like waterfowl or really get anywhere good, you know? At least where I live, you're going to need a boat. And then your costs just skyrocket.
Yeah.
Wow.
you can't hunt on your jet ski.
I could try.
That would be awesome.
Dude, I didn't know that I didn't know that
see
Project
Scott on
Echelon
his
was paying you that well.
On his jet ski, just
Dude.
like standing up like bike fully surfing and bow hunting at the same time on his that
mean,
would be epic. That's
Jet
a
ski,
t-shirt.
the problem is with the jet ski is you're hunting in the winter. And you jet skiing is you get wet.
Yeah.
So
And like hauling everything you need, especially like the deer back. Like
get a sled
I guess you could have a sled, yeah.
behind your jet ski. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
And
Right.
the good part, you can't really sink a jet ski.
True.
All right,
What's
Adam,
your
I want
dream
another
hunt?
I want another tire question before we leave.
Dude, we didn't finish the dream hunt.
All right,
Yukon
tell us.
moose bow hunting.
Ooh.
Yukon moose.
Nice.
That'd
That
be
was
sick.
a nice, quick
Yeah.
Scott answer. Good.
Nice.
I'm gonna say the Alaskan penguin pellet hunting trip. Is
Did you
that
say
legal?
pellet hunting? Like with
Yeah, I
a
just
pellet
made
gun?
some- Yeah, a pellet gun, a BB gun. Hunt penguins with a BB gun.
Let's see.
Actually,
Someone
with a
sent the new Zip gravel arrow designed wheels. Like they're designed specifically to be aerodynamic with gravel tires. What are your thoughts?
Yeah,
They're like
a
the
lot
super
of
wide ones that are like 53.
They're 32 internal, yeah.
what's the external?
But you have to run like a bigger than a 50, right? Tire.
External, usually they're like 4 to 4 millimeter wall thickness, so it'd probably be like 40.
Yeah, a lot. So I don't know why I haven't looked into this rim at all, but a bunch of people sent it to me and have been commenting like, when are you getting on this new Zip wheel? I'm not sponsored by Zip, so probably never.
Not till they fork up some cash.
Yeah. It looks interesting though. I mean, that is the direction that I want gravel wheels to go. I want them to get deeper and wider than what they currently are. So
Yeah,
good job,
that's what I was
Sid.
gonna say. Is like even if you're not a sponsored rider by them, I think it should at least make you excited because I would imagine they might be the first to the game at this point, but they're not the only ones that are working on this. Like there's got to be other wheel companies that are coming to the table with some gravel specific wheel sets. So I think it's cool. The wheels are still sub 1,500 grams, which is like pretty impressive for how wide they are and how deep they are. I think they're like 50 or 60 millimeters deep too. So yeah, I think it's cool. I agree. I think that's the direction that the wheel companies will be going.
So I will say that if it means having a deeper and wider rim, I don't care that it's heavier. Like for certain races like Unbound, the amount that like an extra 100 grams matters versus the amount that the depth and width of the rim matters is like they're not even comparable in terms of how much more important the depth and the width is.
Yeah, I just think there needs to be strategic marketing to like get people to understand that, because for so long bike upgrades have been about weight savings. Like it's just, like you want to get the better group set, you're going to save 100 grams. You want to get the better wheel set, you're going to save 100 grams. Like it's so much about weight savings that if they want these like wider, deeper gravel wheel sets to take off, there has to be new marketing around like, forget the weight. Like there might be a little weight penalty, but the aero savings are what you're going for here, and that's a big benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, hey, let's finish on this one because this is a nice, heartfelt, some feedback. I'm gonna leave the name anonymous, but they say, "Hey guys, bit of an odd one here. I just want to say a massive thank you to you all. You don't know me and I don't really know you, but the past couple of months I've been dealing with some horrible life trauma that has crushed my world. It sounds odd to say, but your guys' podcast has kept me afloat and honestly saved my life. It's made me smile and laugh at times of utter hopelessness, and I've even gone back to listening from the beginning. Without knowing, your silly little chat with mates has kept one cyclist in this world who now is starting cyclocross for the first time, thanks to you all. If you ever come to the UK, I'd be honored to meet you all. Please keep up what you're doing because who knows how many others your banter is helping. Much love from the UK." Thought that was cool.
Nice.
Sweet.
So, Drew, you got to stop cutting everyone off so that we can keep doing this, because otherwise we're going to lose too many listeners and have to shut it down.
Yeah, you can just blame it all on me. I'm sorry.
You think we could have the same podcast if it was us three talking and Drew on a separate recording and then just overlaid it onto us talking?
Randomly.
Probably.
And then there could be an option for the listeners if they want to just like remove Drew's track and just listen to ours, or they can go back to the usual and have his overlaid.
It wasn't even my fault today. It was Dylan's fault because of his 2-second lag.
I'm sorry about the lag.
Here you go again.
Sorry about the lag. Look.
Yep, 2-second lag.
Look, so I think the thing
lag.
about Drew is that he will interrupt people, but then when you interrupt him, he doesn't care. He just plows through.
He just keeps.
Hey,
truth.
That never give up mentality. Come on.
Yeah.
All right, let's
just talk louder.
Let's jump this shark. Get out of here.
Jump the shark.
All right. See you guys.
Adios, amigos.
Thanks for listening.